Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. It is 1 minute to the hour. I'm checking in, seeing if we're live right now. And I think we are. We are live, baby. NFL draft is here. What's up, Cowboys Nation? Good to see each and every one of y'all. We're ready for a big night, hopefully. Big night in store. Have not streamed in a long time. Have not seen you guys in a while. But I wanted to jump on because it is a new era in Dallas, as we all know. And it's going to be a big night, y'all. Big night. And I'm just finishing signing in here so I can see your guys' comments here in a second. Just wanted to make sure we were here for the 7 o'clock start time. Shout out to each and every one of you for jumping on in. I got it up here on my phone right here, so give me just a few seconds. Man, I'm trying to send it. I'm trying to sign in here. I promise, guys, I'll see you in a second. I'll see the comments coming in here in a second. There we go. I should have done this, but I wanted to be here at least at 7 o'clock. TKG says a wide receiver, a running back. Good to see you again, TKG, man. It feels like a long time, man. I haven't seen you guys, so it's good to see all of y'all. TKG, I feel like a wide receiver is very important tonight. You need to get Dak Prescott some weapons. You just got to help out your guy tonight. You have to help out your quarterback that you just paid all this money to. You got to help him out. Just want to make sure we're still good on the draft. And put it in the chat, y'all. Put it in the chat. Who you drafting tonight? Who you drafting tonight if you're Jerry Jones? If you're Steven Jones? Who y'all drafting? Who y'all drafting? It's going to be an exciting night. Hopefully a historic night. I felt like last year's was a little bit underwhelming. I liked the pick that they had last year, but I felt like it obviously didn't produce to what we wanted to. Tyler Guyton was struggling towards the end of the year. TKG says, how do you feel about us trading for Joe Milton? I like it because I wanted him last season. I think it's a fine option, especially if you have to have someone back up Dak Prescott. I think that's a good option. There's an egg right here. Gotta get this egg out. Y'all can see my legs. Taryn, welcome to the draft chat. McMillan or Golden at 12, if not trade back. I feel like if McMillan is taken, I feel like if he's taken, you can probably afford to trade back at least a couple of spots. Now, my predictions for tonight, I think they do trade back. The Cowboys have done it twice out of the last 3 seasons. They've traded back. And when you talk about a draft that's essential for the Cowboys, it's necessary because so much young talent is on the line for the Cowboys for this season to be successful. And so expect them to want to haul a lot in this draft. And I think that's the best way you do it. Best way you do it is trading back, gaining a day 2 pick and increasing, because the Cowboys are really good in day 2, day 3. They really see value in those days. And so my prediction is that they do trade back from the 12th pick. Modelo time, welcome. We need a wide receiver. 88 was doubled way too much last season. Completely agree, especially with Brandon Cooks leaving. I like Jalen Tolbert, but I don't think he's made that step that we necessarily needed him to make to be a number two. Number two has to be reliable. TKG says, sorry, I was just booing Roger. As we all do. As we all do. Got the new hat on. I swear, man, we're in the same place all the time. You know, we say we don't like this team. We're not going to watch this team. We're not going to support this team anymore. And then they drop the draft caps and you're like, man, I just got to get one. Here we go. Number one pick, I believe, is just, they already announced it. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be Cam Ward. Cam Ward's going to go first. At least I saw something like that on the internet today on X. Hopefully we get to the 12th pick pretty quick here. It'll be interesting. I mean, honestly, so that's my prediction. I think they trade back. They'll probably go 14th, 15th. So it'll go from the 12th to maybe the 14th to the 15th, maybe even the 16th to get that day 2 pick. And I would like to see a wide receiver. I could definitely see them going offensive line. My hot take would be that they would go get Shedeur Sanders. If you want a hot take for tonight, there's my hot take. Modelo says you need some Cowboy swag on your wall. Modelo, man, I did. I did for the longest time. We're moving offices in the house. We're moving rooms. And so in my son's room, it's actually all the Cowboy stuff that you see in the video and all the videos that I've done in the past 3 years. So believe me, I've worked on a wall, but now I'm just back in this room for the time being. And I just got those 2 helmets back there for right now. So check out the other videos. You'll see that I do deck out the entire wall, but I appreciate it, Modelo. Appreciate it. And man, I wish I had a Modelo right now too. It's good to be close to football. Here we go. Clay Matthews is up there. This is so dumb. I hate when they do this, when they're like, you know, the 4-time world champ. Just say the pick. He's opening it up. Just call the pick, man. We're all here to see a draft. Let's go. But comment down below. Just right now, who do you think the Cowboys are going to draft? Give me a name. Give me a name. Who do you think they're going to draft tonight? Give me a name. And then the Titans have the first overall pick. And I'd imagine I saw online that they're taking Cam Ward. So that should be a pretty simple, easy pick for them. There we go. Titans are on the clock. And the NFL draft has begun. Let's talk about the Titans for a little bit. They got 10 minutes on the clock. We obviously know who they're going to be taking. I think the Titans have been in a pretty good situation recently. Obviously, they didn't have the results that they wanted last year. But I think they didn't have what they wanted last year. But, you know, they were aggressive in free agency. Obviously, you got Mike Vrabel back in the picture. And, you know, you're in an AFC East that's been dominated by the Bills the past few years. But you got the Patriots, you got the Dolphins. I think there's legitimacy to maybe compete for a wild card. And if you could be a competitor and take down the Bills at least once a season, you know, you could be competitive in the AFC East where you could be a division winner. What an odd place to have the draft, don't you think? Green Bay. Odd place to have it. I think Cam Ward goes here, and I would expect Travis Hunter to go number 2. Let me see. I need to pull up like a draft tracker or something. Let me see. Yeah, you got the Titans, you got the Browns, you got the Giants. We might be here for a while, guys. We might be here for a while. TKG says, "What do you think we need in the draft, man? We need a lot. We need a lot. I think we definitely need to give Dak Prescott some help offensively. I think that was probably one of the. I mean, there's a lot of glaring needs, but I think to me that was probably one of the most glaring. Is when you're not going to have any kind of creativity in the offense, and now that Mike is gone, um, you do need playmakers out there that can get open. And I think that's just something we never saw with Brandon Cooks. Really struggled getting separation outside of any kind of schematic offensive plays. Same thing with Jalen Tolbert. I think if you really just pair someone with CeeDee Lamb, that's really going to help this offense flourish and kind of take the weight off of Dak Prescott. I like where our offensive line is right now, losing Zach Martin to retirement, obviously not having Tyron Smith for the second season, him just retiring as well. Tyler Guyton hopefully stepping back and having a really good second year. So, wide receiver, you do need a playmaker. You do need a running back. My top priority is getting Dak Prescott a weapon, though. You just signed into an extension. I think that makes the most sense. And if you want to make a splash as a first-time head coach with Brian Schottenheimer, I think you should have a lot of influence there, wanting to get a wide receiver, wanting to get a weapon there where you can spread out the offense and be that way. Defensively, I'd be shocked to see them go defense here in the first round. Despite common belief with, Mike Zimmer and the defense and how it started, it did go how I predicted. I thought the defense was going to look better, is going to gel. And, when they went on that little winning streak that ended against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, that defense was playing at a very high level, even without Micah Parsons for a time being right there. So I would be surprised if you go defense unless you trade up to get a guy like Abdul Carter out of Penn State. That's not going to happen, though. But, I think offense, you make the splash here. And here in Tennessee, they are making the call here. Going to make that decision. So, Taryn says, if we don't go skills position first round, I say it's a rebuild type draft. A win now mentality would be a skilled pick. That's a great point, man. And I think, obviously, maybe a lot of people weren't satisfied or weren't pumped up by the move to make Schottenheimer your head coach. I think this pick is going to tell a lot to the fans, to Cowboys Nation. Are we in a win now mentality? Because the salary kind of says we are, because we re-signed Dak, we re-signed CD, Micah's ready to get his. So we should be in a win now mentality. And, I think talent is there for the Cowboys to compete this year. So I completely agree. There's a lot of talent, though, in this first round. There really is. There's a lot of talent. So I would be thrown, like, worst case scenario, I think is offensive line. It's obviously not a sexy pick, but we've seen where the Cowboys have drafted an offensive lineman and it worked really well for them. Tyler Guyton is still, pending what's going to happen there. But I agree with you, man. TKG says, is it possible to trade for a new owner? Frankly, I don't think Jerry's having a lot of influence in the office recently. I think it's a lot of Stephen Jones, which is a little bit more scary. Cam Ward, let's talk about him. Is he going to be the guy that turned Tennessee around? I'm not sold on Cam Ward. I'm not sold. I don't. Then again, he's not going to be my quarterback. So, but I just don't think Ward. I don't know. It takes a lot for a number one overall pick, especially a quarterback, to have immediate success in a system where you're going to a team that just earned the number one overall pick by being the worst team in the NFL. So hopefully, I wish nothing but the best for him. That's definitely not me knocking him down or not saying he's a playmaker or anything like that. I just don't see it. I just feel like these quarterbacks haven't, I don't know. Quarterbacks out of the draft haven't been as big as you think they would. Tennessee's coming up. Come on. We already know who it is. We already know. Just announce it. I'm really excited to see what Cleveland does because there's been rumors about a trade. Here we go. Tennessee. The pick is in. Roger making his way to the stand. And we wasted 5 minutes knowing the name he's about to say. Cameron Ward, the University of Miami, which means Will Levis does not have a job. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Is it a situation where you throw him in immediately? Or is it a situation where you let him sit? I'm sure Titans fans can answer that question better than I can because I don't watch the Titans, obviously. But we have seen that there has been success when you don't play your rookie quarterback immediately. I think recently we see someone like Bryce Young be a number 1 overall pick. Doesn't have a lot of immediate success, but I mean, just sitting and seeing the game differently and absorbing the speed of the NFL, that pays its dividends. Obviously, we've seen that with Patrick Mahomes. And not to say everyone's going to be Patrick Mahomes when they do that, but there is value if you can go to a situation and your quarterback that you just drafted number 1 overall doesn't, become your starter. But then you have rare cases like Jaden Daniels. I mean, wasn't the number 1 overall pick, but Jaden Daniels had a fantastic year with Washington. Now the Jaguars are on the clock. So we got a trade. TKG just mentioned that. Let's see what the trade is. Let me pull up something here. The Browns and Jaguars have agreed to a blockbuster trade to give Jacksonville the number 2 overall pick, while Cleveland gets number 5 in a massive haul to help now and in the future. What is that massive haul? Okay, here we go. Browns are trading the number 2 overall pick and a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick of this year's draft to the Jaguars. Jaguars are sending the number 5th overall pick, a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, and their 2026 first round pick to the Browns. Boom, that's the big one. So they basically swap So the Browns are getting a 2nd round pick, and they're getting a less valued 4th round pick, and they're getting next year's 2026 first round pick. I mean, that's a steal because it looks like the Jaguars are going to take Travis Hunter. Now, the Browns, what do they want to do? Taryn says Travis Hunter next. Yeah, absolutely. He is absolutely next. That is definitely going to happen. Which is no surprise. He's, I think, the best. I really like Abdul Carter, but Travis Hunter's up there. He's definitely one of the best prospects coming out of the draft. So quarterback goes number 1 again. Jaguars are on the clock. It's got to be Travis Hunter. I mean, it's got to be Travis Hunter. I don't know who else it could be. 4 minutes on the clock. Now, I heard that it would be interesting if the Cowboys traded up. I don't think that's them. We haven't seen the Cowboys trade up in a long time. In terms of like a first round draft. I mean, I think last time we traded up for a first round pick may have been LSU cornerback Morris Claiborne. That was years ago. But I'm all for trading back and getting a guy like Matthew Golden from UT. Because at that point, McMillan wouldn't be. Taryn says this trade is a win for McMillan falling. I was worried him possibly going to the Jags. I don't know if it was. Again, we don't know, but I don't know if he would go that early. Also, guys, I'm seeing all these draft analysts. Everyone's going to stop with the sneakers and the business suits. It's too much. I'm looking at these reporters and they're wearing sneakers. And I love sneakers, man. I love a good collection. I got my own. But like wearing it with the suit and everything, it just, sometimes it doesn't go with the personality, man. Sometimes you're just trying way too hard. Like I'm looking at some of these pictures, man. Like they don't, it does not go well. Put on some dress shoes. You don't always have to wear sneakers. Just saying. That's my sidebar. All right. Jaguars pick is in. And yes, it's confirmed the Jaguars are taking Colorado wide receiver / cornerback Travis Hunter with the number 2 overall pick. The Heisman Trophy winner is headed to Jacksonville. That's a major win. And I think he's just a multi-generational talent. Obviously, the ability to play wide receiver and cornerback. What he's going to do in the National Football League, we don't know. But his talent, obviously, be a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, that is a big win for Jacksonville. That is a big win for Jacksonville. I'm happy for Jacksonville. Obviously, got the new head coach from Tampa Bay. Still got Trevor Lawrence there. And back to Tennessee, they also have Tony Pollard, remember. So they have a running game there. Traylon Burks, former Razorback, was a first-round pick. Hasn't been healthy. Maybe it clicks. Maybe he is healthy. So I think there's things in Tennessee that can work. As for Jacksonville, what was their record in Jacksonville last year? Let's look at that up. I mean, it had to be not that good since they had a top 5 pick. They were 4-13. Did they stick with Doug Peterson? Taryn says, see Ginty rocking Crocs. I did see that. I saw that on the red carpet. Rocking the Crocs. Bold. Very bold. The crazy thing is I'm watching the broadcast. I'm watching the draft. And they haven't announced the pick live on TV yet, but we already know based off of X. You know what would make my night is if the Cowboys traded up. So that I'm staying on till the Cowboys draft. That's the rule of thumb tonight for tonight's live stream. I'm staying on as long as the Cowboys are on the board. Once they go, I'm out. And we're technically 10 picks away. The Giants are technically on the clock right now. We're 10 picks away from the Cowboys if they stay at number 12. Now, who do the Giants take? That's going to be interesting. Who does the NFC East rival take in with the 3rd overall pick? It's got to be, well, they got a quarterback. They just got Russell Wilson. There we go. Now it's on TV. Now Travis Hunter goes. That's awesome for him. That's big for him. Congratulations to him, man. Taryn Harvey says Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter going, I mean, that'd be big for them, honestly. If they go third in the draft, they go defense third in the draft, that'd be big. I also feel like the Cowboys did a really good job kind of building draft capital on top of getting their compensatory picks or compensatory picks. They did a really good job. So I think there's some leeway if they want to do something here. I don't see them being aggressive, but we'll see. Just watching Travis Hunter dance there. That's awesome. Good for him. Hopefully it works out for Jacksonville, works out for Travis. I mean, the real win, though, is avoiding Cleveland and you're going to Jacksonville. I mean, it's got to pick your poison at that point, but I think I would choose Jacksonville over Cleveland. I would personally do that. Okay, NFC East, let's take a look. Obviously, we know the Giants finished last in the division. 214 Fierro guy says, I just hope we get a good running back, good pick running back or wide receiver. And welcome to the chat. Thanks for your comment. Yeah, Giants were 3-14. Not the best year for them. And we're still, now the Giants are on the clock and we're waiting. It's going to be very interesting to see who they pick. I may like defense here if I'm the Giants. You got Russell. You got your quarterback, technically. If you really believe in that. I mean, you can go a lot of people here for the Giants. You can go Abdul Carter. You can go Will Campbell. You can even go Ginty if you really want. TKG says, how do you think Hunter playing in Jacksonville and what will be his main position? That's a great question. I think obviously you're going to see him on both sides. I don't think you'll see him play on both sides to the same capacity that you saw him do in Colorado. But I think predominantly you'll see him on, I would say, this is my prediction, I think you would see him on the defensive side. And then he would be incorporated similar to how Deion Sanders was back in the day on offense. And the pick is in for New York. This should be Abdul. This should be a duel. Or you go offensive line. I know that killed them most of last year. And then I'm watching the broadcast too. Meanwhile, I'm watching on Twitter to see if anything drops. Still not seeing anything via X. The pick is in. We're still waiting. TKG says, what are you watching on NFL Network or ESPN? That's a good question. ESPN. I'm watching on ESPN. And there we go. The pick is in. For the New York Giants, the Giants are selecting Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter with the number 3 overall pick. The 2024 unanimous All-American and Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year joins a defensive front that already includes Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. Kayvon Thibodeau, you probably want to throw that in there too. You're going to see a big change. I'm not going to say that they're playoff contenders. That's a lot. But I'm just saying you're going to see a pretty big change that allows New York to be somewhat competitive again. I wouldn't, with that kind of pick and with that kind of defense, I wouldn't expect him to go 3-14 again. And with a pretty, I like Russ. I think Russ is good. I like Russ. I think he's solid. I think he's consistent. He's someone that you can build around. Obviously, can't depend on him to be a playmaker, but if you put the right weapons around him, say like Malik Neighbors, obviously, I think you can win more than 3 games. So that's my prediction on the Giants as of right now. And that's pretty unfortunate because the Cowboys have owned the Giants for an amount of years. Do we sweep them again this year? For me, it's hard to say so. I don't know if we'll sweep them again. I would say that we probably split with the Giants right now if you ask me. I think our offensive line is going to be very young. It's going to be kind of same thing that we saw with the defense last year with the Cowboys. The defense was not gelling at the beginning of the season, but that it found its stride later in the year. I think we probably see the same type of similar movement and progression with the offensive line this year. All right, we're 4 picks in. New England's on the clock here. I mean, on X, I'm seeing a lot of people talk about how it could be an explosive night via trades. We shall see. We shall see. I, again, don't expect the Cowboys to be active trading up. I definitely, knowing their trends and their history, can see them trading back. Abdul Carter, man, he can be really big. He can be like, I'm not going to say Micah, because you have to pair him with the good defensive-minded coordinator. And I don't know if New York has that right now. But we'll see. I mean, there was dreams, though, earlier in the offseason of pairing Abdul Carter with Micah Parsons. But so far, we're 3 picks in. We're a fourth of a way to the Dallas Cowboys pick. Nothing has been surprising. Even the trade, we knew the trade was going to happen between Jacksonville and Cleveland. Like, there was whispers of it. There was movement leading into tonight, so that's not necessarily a surprise. But seeing Travis Hunter go top 3, I'm not surprised. New England. And here's a report coming in. The Cleveland Browns are taking calls from teams interested in the number 5 pick. Does that mean one of the Cowboys? Does that mean the Cowboys get on the phone right now and call Cleveland? Who do you take with the number 5 overall pick if you're the Cowboys? Chat, let me know. Who do you take if you have the number 5 overall pick? You may say Genty, but that's high, man. That's high for a running back. Just think of like the whole, Ezekiel Elliott situation. We just got out of that recently, literally. New England, do you go offensive line here? Will Campbell? I mean, you could go running back here, or you could go as high as wide receiver. You need Mac. I almost said Mac Jones. You need a weapon for New England. Oh, and here we go. New England, their pick is in already. The Patriots are selecting LSU offensive tackle Will Campbell with the number 4 overall pick. A consensus All-American, Campbell is smart, tough, dependable, and a natural leader, and now becomes the blindside protector for Drake May. We are 4 picks into the NFL draft. We are a third away from the Dallas Cowboys pick if they stay at the number 12th pick. If we go to the chat, TKG says Cowboys call for Genty. Terrence says Genty at 5. I am David. Welcome to the chat, says Genty. You guys all want Genty. And believe me, look, Genty would be a game changer. undoubtedly solve a lot of issues for Dak, for this offense, for this team. I mean, that is an immediate impact. I'm just worried about how we manage Ezekiel Elliott, and we just got out of that. But I'm being a Debbie Downer. If you get the number 5 overall pick, you have to get Genty. I completely agree with y'all in the chat. Like you have to get Genty if you're up that high. TKG says, would you trade with the Browns? If it's me, no. I think the Cowboys can get an impact player now at 12. I think you can even get someone at 14 that can make an impact on your team to help you win now. Would I trade up 7 spots with the Cleveland Browns to select Ashton Genty? Me, if I'm the GM, no. I'm not doing that. No. Would it be fun? Yeah, that would be awesome. You may see me live here buy an Ashton Genty jersey. That would be exciting, but it's not going to happen. It's not the Cowboy way, y'all. Y'all know better. This is not who we are. We don't make splashes like that. All right, a lot of movement here on all fronts. I kind of feel like a meteorologist right now. Movements on all there's some movement for the Cowboys trading. If you have this kind of momentum about trading, the Cowboys are going to make a trade tonight. I'm telling you, they are going to trade back. So let's rate these picks here, guys, as we're waiting for, what are we on, the 5th pick? Yeah, we're on the 5th pick now because the Browns are on the clock. Cam Ward, I think that's a win. I don't know. If I'm Tennessee, I'm probably taking Travis Hunter. I think if I'm Tennessee, you can probably go a veteran quarterback. I'm just not sold on the rookie class of this rookie quarterback class of this draft. I personally would have gone veteran for the Titans and then get a playmaker like Travis Hunter. So with that being said, Jacksonville, they killed it. Traded up, made a splash, great pick. I thought New York did a great job with Abdul Carter. I think he's going to be a good impact for that defense. Can he get up to the par of Michael Parsons? I don't think so, but I do think he's going to be a solid player. TKG says, what rumors have you been hearing about the Cowboys in the first round? Now, I'm not a reporter, so I'm not going to tell you that I've been hearing this or that, but just from reading on X and following the Cowboys reporters like I do, there's just like Breece Hall has been a name, running back out of New York, has been a name that obviously has been on the Cowboys board going back to last year. I'm sorry. No. I completely got that wrong. That's the other running back for New York. But Breece Hall, who's kind of the primary running back for New York, his name is circulating. Taryn says, we got to let the dominoes fall. Think Browns are looking at O-line, so don't mind falling back more. Exactly. It's not a bad thing to fall back if you know what you want or if you have a good selection of choices. Because at that point, when you're at 12 and you're trading back, you have a pretty good idea of who you're going to be able to select. And then obviously who you're on the phone with and trading back with, you're having conversations with them as well, those teams. Because that team wants that player and you want that player, so it makes sense for both people to trade. So trading back is never a bad thing. TKG says it won't happen, but in the next year draft, would you want Manning? That's a loaded question, my friend. The Cowboys have to start thinking about the future, especially developing someone. If you look at the history of Tony Romo, if you look at the history of Dak Prescott, these are guys that were developed. And so I would think it would make sense to start that process. I should have a sign here when I need to step away. Do I have a sign here that I can step away? Hold up, y'all. There we go. It's popped up. Okay, cool. When I have to step away, I'm going to put this guy up. I'll be right back, y'all. All right, we back, baby. What'd I miss? Pick 5, Mason Graham going to Cleveland. That's who we got. Was he high on the list? I don't know. I mean, you could have gone Ginty. You could have gone other players. I mean, that's a surprising one. I don't think a lot of people had Mason Graham high up on like a top 5 list because that's a top 5 pick. But also you have to remember that a lot of that, when you move to that 5th pick, they gained a lot. And so they're kind of set up well in the future here. So here we go. We're into the 6th pick in the NFL draft. The Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock. And if you don't know, it's really funny because earlier today, Pete Carroll was actually active on X, and he gave a hint of some kind of who they'll be drafting, and it was a screenshot from the movie Sinners. So that, I don't know who's in control of Pete Carroll's social, but that was definitely a head scratcher. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. So, which, I mean, it might be Ashton Ginty actually, once I think about it, which is, I mean, Ashton Ginty would look good. I'm unbiased and realistic, so I could say this, but he would look good in that black and silver. So that's my prediction here. I think they go Ashton Ginty. Raiders go Ashton Ginty, which would make him a 6th overall pick. And Pete Carroll's not afraid of going for that splash. He's not afraid of making that big pick. Pete Carroll will take the best player available and make a splash out of that. But if we're looking back at Cleveland, obviously they won a lot with the trade. I think that put them in a really good position. But trading back to get Mason Graham, which leads me to believe, like, is that who they actually wanted at number 2? They just didn't want to spend a number 2 overall pick on it instead of 5th overall pick. Again, if Mason Graham turns out to be Joe Thomas, like, okay, you'll want it there. But I think for Cleveland, you really need a playmaker there. You need someone big there. And I don't know. I'm not too hot on that pick for Cleveland. Seems a little rudimentary for them to make that pick at that moment. So I'm not really big on that one. So here we go. It is just in Ashton Ginty to the Raiders with the number 6 overall pick. The league leading rusher for college football is going to be wearing the black and silver. And Ashton Ginty, breaking Dallas Cowboy fans' hearts, is going to be a Raider. And that's kind of made. That's a match made right there. I'm not gonna lie. I think that is a good pick for the Raiders. And I'm actually gonna go back here. I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna make it look somewhat like we're a football channel here. But I can't be mad at that. I mean, Ashton Ginty to Las Vegas, that's a good move. But man, I mean, for months going into the season, everybody in Cowboys Nation wanted Ashton Ginty. And I mean, we just talked about it too, because the Browns were shopping number 5 after they shopped number 2. So if the Cowboys traded up to number 5, they could have got Ashton Ginty. It was well within their control to do so. They had the ability to. And again, we talked about it earlier on the stream. I would not trade assets for this year and next year to get a running back at number 5. I feel like the Cowboys can get a work by committee from their running backs to make them competitive this year. I know they tried to do that last year and it didn't work out. But Ashton Ginty goes in the top 10, and that just broke a lot of hearts for the Cowboys. It hurts, man. I'm not gonna lie. And TKG's down there in the chat. He's got the crying face and the heart emoji, broken heart emoji. It's tough. This is someone that the Cowboys fans wanted ever since we saw Ashton Genty loading up and heating up in college football. He was dominating, and this is someone that definitely could have made an immediate impact. I mean, I'm thinking this is very similar vibes to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson is a solid player. He's in Atlanta, and he's still a good running back, you know. Cowboys had some ability there to trade up for him if they wanted to in that draft, and they didn't. And same thing here with Genty. But I think the silver lining here is the Cowboys are learning from their mistakes. Because, again, if you go that high, it was never going to happen. But if you go that high for a running back, you're repeating a situation that you had that you just got out of with Ezekiel Elliott. And, you know, you could talk about the immediate success that the Cowboys had with Ezekiel Elliott going that high for a running back, but the lingering effects of it just didn't produce a lot of good things for the Cowboys recently. And so, you know, it sucks. I wanted Ashton Genty too, but it wasn't going to happen. I am David in the chat says Raiders are trash. Guys, it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. Maybe it was going to happen if the Cowboys didn't go on that winning streak there. I think it was a 3-game winning streak. They beat the Giants. They beat the Panthers. I can't remember exactly because last year was trash, but it just wasn't. Maybe if they lost more games and they didn't end up 7-10, you could have got Ashton Genty, but this team had too much pride and they played, and which I'm not going to question. That's what you want your players to do. But yeah, that's a gut punch, and that ship has sailed for the Cowboys. No Ashton Genty in Dallas. That would have been a sick jersey, though. That would have been sick, man. But look, there's still some player makers out there. You got McMillan out of U of A. Wildcats, let's go. Did I do it right? Hold up. There we go. Wildcats. You got Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of University of Texas. Still a lot of playmakers in this draft that can do something here. Let's see. And with that, we are officially halfway, y'all. We're getting closer, baby. We're getting closer. 6 picks away if the Cowboys do stay at 12. Go ahead and comment down below. Has anything changed for you now that we're 6 picks in and 6 picks away from the Dallas Cowboys choosing their newest player? How y'all feeling? I still feel good. I feel like we haven't seen anything that hasn't been surprising. Everything that we've seen is things that I expected to happen. Even as much of a gut punch Genty to Las Vegas is, like, we were just never going to get him unless we were very aggressive and traded up. And that's just not what Cowboys front office does. Terrence says, as long as McMillan keeps falling, TK just sees I'm getting nervously excited. Get hype. Welcome to the chat, man. I noticed you from Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for jumping in here for our live reaction of the round 1 pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Get hype says, let's go Cowboys. Yes, sir. We're Cowboys fans for life, man. I mean, we're here every year, right? We're here every year watching the draft, getting excited. But this one's special because it's Schottenheimer's first pick. This is a new coach making a new pick. I mean, is McMillan falling? I don't know. I don't think so because you look at any of these. No wide receivers have gone. Unless you're counting Travis Hunter. No wide receivers have gone. So I'm not worried here. New York Jets here. I think they go defense. 7th overall, I could see Aaron Glenn, new head coach in New York. I could see him really wanting to strengthen that identity on defense. I could see him going defense here. Maybe like a Jalen Walker. from Georgia, maybe a Mikael Williams from Georgia. I just really feel a defensive pick here coming for New York. Or they could very much work out and get someone on the offensive line here, which would work out for them as well. A lot of needs for New York. Get Hype says, what do you think, wide receiver? I'm wide receiver, but we're going to see a lot of things change here right now. Buckle in. Picks 6 through 10 is really going to tell us where the Cowboys are right now. The pick is in for the New York Jets. Roger Goodell's announcing. I'm not looking at Twitter for this one. I'm going to see Roger Goodell and what he's doing. Armand Membo, offensive tackle out of Missouri. Okay. So they didn't go defense. They decided, like I said, to strengthen that offensive line, which is very important. Right now, Justin Fields is the quarterback out there in New York. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't watch New York Jets football, so I don't know who's taking snaps over there. Obviously not Aaron Rodgers. Terrence says 49ers is the only team he's nervous about for wide receiver. Very valid. The 49ers are the 11th pick, one ahead of the Cowboys. I would say they definitely need a lot of help on defense if I'm the 49ers. So New York offensive tackle. Carolina is now on the clock. I mean, I hate to say it, y'all. Y'all are going to hate me for saying this. I could see McMillan going high up here. I think you need to get Bryce Young some weapons, and I would not be surprised if McMillan goes here to Carolina. You're not going to want to hear me say it, but I'm saying it. I could see it right here. But also in the back of my mind, again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, I think the Cowboys are going to trade back. I think they're going to go wide receiver. If I would put money on it, I think Matthew Golden from University of Texas is a Dallas Cowboy by the end of the night. Taryn says offensive lineman next. Think linemen go on a run here. Again, Carolina needs an offensive line. Everybody needs an offensive line. So do you go offensive line here? Yes. Carolina has been fielding calls about trading the number 8 overall pick per Adam Schefter. Things are heating up, guys. Things are heating up here in Dallas. Get Hype says, I like Golden for the Cowboys. Yes. McMillan, I'm going to start coping you guys with this. McMillan is a number 1 wide receiver talent. And that would be an absolute steal if the Cowboys managed to get him at 12 or if they wanted to trade up and secure that pick. Absolutely. But I think for the Cowboys, you just need someone that can take the load off of CeeDee Lamb so that he's not the primary option all the time, getting doubled, all that jazz. Golden fits that bill for the Cowboys. And I honestly think Xavier Worthy last year fit that bill, but obviously the Cowboys went offensive line with Tyler Guyton. You can look at my past videos. I thought Xavier Worthy would have been a great option for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, he went to Kansas City. But you don't have to look for a number 1 guy here when you just re-signed CeeDee Lamb. You can look for a really highly efficient, productive wide receiver with Matthew Golden. Trade back, get your day 2 pick, build with the round 2, round 3 pick. That's my prediction. That's what I'm seeing so far. Oh, I told you guys, I just saw it. Carolina takes McMillan. I told you guys, I tried to prep you for it. I told you guys. I told you, I tried to tell you. The Panthers are taking Arizona wide receiver McMillan at number 8, a big target for Bryce Young. I tried to tell y'all, man, this is the stream to watch, man. I'm telling y'all. You need to get weapons for your quarterback, and they did right there. I think the Cowboys would have used McMillan a lot better, but the dream is over. The Cowboys Nation is taking some hits right now. Ginty goes at number 6 to Las Vegas, and they lose McMillan out of Arizona to Carolina at number 8. 4 more picks to go till we get to our slot, guys. This is the draft, baby. This is what happens. This is draft night. This is it. This is heartbreak, but then hearts are made. So it goes both ways. We are 4 picks away from the Dallas Cowboys making their first round pick. I told you guys, I had to share my gut feeling. And it ended up being right, and I apologize. But again, we just talked about it. McMillan's a number 1 guy. He's someone that you build around. The Cowboys already have 88. They already got CeeDee Lamb. You don't need a McMillan. You just need a Matthew Golden. And I think all signs, again, are pointing towards trading back like I've been predicting all night long. Taryn says trade back time, that hurts. Yep. Again, guys, if you're just joining in right now, my prediction is officially Cowboys are trading back. They'll go from 12 to maybe 14 or 15, maybe even 16, get that day 2 pick. They'll get a wide receiver who can help this offense right now, and I think that's Matthew Golden. Or I should really stop saying Matthew Golden because there's a lot of receivers out there that could be helpful to the Cowboys, such as, let me look them up. I got my chart right here in front of me. Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. I think that's a really good pick right there, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I don't know if I'd go Hampton running back that high up. I just don't know. I wouldn't make that pick. But I think it's Hampton, Igboka, and Golden. I think that's who you're looking at coming up here. And Goodell is announcing it right now. And it's McMillan. McMillan, obviously, to Carolina. Number 9 is coming up. Things are heating up. How we all feeling? Put it down in the chat. How we all feeling? I know Ginty broke y'all's heart. I know McMillan is breaking y'all's heart. But we don't need either of them. I think the Cowboys are smart. I think the running back situation, I think you can. Running back's tough. We do need a running game, and we tried the committee last year. And a running game really helps Dak, but a wide receiver does too as well. I would say running back gets addressed here day 2, day 3 for the Cowboys. And fun fact, I'll take a moment to tomorrow night. I'll be on Cowboys Can Fan, good friends with them. I've been on their podcast a bunch of times. I'll be there after, I think it's the Cowboys' 3rd pick, hopefully. So check them out, like and subscribe to them. They're great, awesome content creators. So I'll be on that show tomorrow night. All right, we are to this 9th pick, the New Orleans Saints. Kellen Moore, as we all know, went over there and took over the head coaching position over there. I think they go quarterback here. It's definitely not going to be Shador. Jackson Dart, Ole Miss, possibly. I'm looking at the list here. I think they go quarterback here. I think New Orleans goes quarterback here because Derek Carr is already on his way out. You need someone there with a new head coach, offensive-minded head coach. I think New Orleans here in the Kellen Moore era is going to go quarterback. Man, McMillan went top 10. That's good for him, but it's just crazy how much these drafts change the night that you get there. Because a lot of people thought he was maybe going to go 20, top 20. Um, but to go top 10, make it at the eighth pick, that's big. For the Saints, like I said, quarterback, you do need a quarterback, but I could also see them going offensive line here again. That's a really big need for them as well. Saints are not drafting a quarterback at 9. Okay, so they're going offensive line, which is going to be interesting to see what they do with the quarterback position. You go Taysom Hill the whole year? This is going to be interesting. All right. Saints pick. Nothing on socials yet. And for people maybe thinking Shador here for New Orleans, no. No way. Good for McMillan, man. I'm a big U of A fan. I love Arizona. Grew up in Tucson, so it's been a while since we've seen a Wildcat go that high up in the draft. Okay. We're just waiting for that next pick here. Sorry, looking at my phone sideways. Seeing if anything's coming in. Okay. Saints pick is in. Coming back to the stream here. Nothing. I don't see anything on socials. Yep. Okay. Number 9 overall pick is in. The Saints have selected Texas offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. And like I said, if it wasn't quarterback, it's going to be offensive line. And they go offensive line. Not a bad thing to go offensive line. New Orleans really need to build that up. So here we go. We are now in the 10th spot in the NFL draft, and your Dallas Cowboys are coming up here in 2 picks. I don't see anything here that you would trade up for. I think you have a lot of options coming up here with Matthew Golden, Iboka, Hampton, if you want to throw that in. And I'm talking about playmakers. I haven't even talked about offensive linemen yet here. So you're gonna have a playmaker if you want any of those 3 players. Again, let me throw Hampton out of that. I wouldn't throw Hampton in this conversation. But you're gonna have your choice here of Golden or Igboka. You're gonna have your choice here. Because you got the Bears on the clock. Bears are not going to go wide receiver here. They may go defense here if they want to. I feel like their offensive line may be comfortable, but obviously new head coach Brian Johnson in Chicago, he likes his offensive weapons, might go offense here. The Cowboys, if you want a wide receiver, you're going to get them. The way that this draft is shaking out right now, you are going to have your choice of a wide receiver. We're heating up here. We're getting closer. Again, this is just it's screaming offense. I'm not seeing anything here defensively for the Cowboys. And I'm not so sure I'm seeing anything in terms of the offensive line that would make you want to take it over the wide receiver talent that you have right here. This seems like a lock-in for wide receiver. And then you could always have a surprise pick such as Shador Sanders. I had an inclination to say McMillan at number 8, and he got drafted. So therefore, I have the same inclination just to throw Shador Sanders out there. I'm just saying. All right. And with the 10th pick in the NFL draft, the Chicago Bears are selecting Michigan tight end Golston Loveland. And like I said, Brian Johnson loves his offensive weapons, former offensive coordinator in Detroit, now the head coach of the Chicago Bears, loves his weapons, goes tight end here. I feel like they're obviously not going to go wide receiver, but I think they could have gotten a good defensive piece to keep building that defense in Detroit. Tight end this high up in the draft. 10th overall pick. Is that what we just said? I think, yeah, 10th overall pick for a tight end. Unless it's Brock Bowers, I just don't know. And a tight end coming out of Michigan, I don't know. I don't know if that's the best pick. And so with that, we are now at the 11th pick with the San Francisco 49ers. Here we go, guys. We are getting close to the Cowboys' 12th overall pick. Who will be a Dallas Cowboy? The next generation of the Schottenheimer era. 49ers here, I think they go defense. And it could be Georgia. It could be Jalen Walker or Mikael Williams. How we feeling, chat? Let me know. I haven't heard from you in a while. Let me know how y'all feeling. We're getting closer. One pick away. It's heating up, man. It's heating up. Again, if you're just joining the chat, if you're just joining our live stream here, I am telling you that the Cowboys are going to draft. They're going to trade back. Pick up day 2 picks and then probably take Matthew Golden or Iboka. Jalen Walker, Matthew Golden are both on the board there for the Cowboys. You're going to have a pretty good pick. Cowboys drafting Georgia. I mean, it's been a long time since they've gone Georgia round 1. Not to say that, they haven't gone University of Texas in a while, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know if you go Jalen Walker here. I don't know. On top of that, the Cowboys are depending on DeMarvion Overshown. They like what they've seen from Overshown. So they're depending on that coming back. And obviously with Maurice Leafau having a decent rookie year. And what did I tell you? With the 11th pick in the NFL draft, the 49ers are taking Georgia defensive end Mikael Williams at number 11. I told you they'd take defense, man. Here we go. The Cowboys are on the clock. We have made it It is the 12th overall pick, and it is time in Dallas to make a decision here. The Cowboys are officially on the clock. 49ers have decided who they're going to take. Chat says trade back first option, but if Walker does get past 49ers, I'm slowly loving Walker at 12. Walker is a good choice, but right now I can tell you the War Room has options. And if you have options in Dallas on draft night, that means you're trading back because you're going to let other people decide for you, and you're going to say, whoever's available, if we trade back 2 spots, that's who we're going to take. So it might be Jalen Walker. It might be Matthew Golden. Things have gone the way that the Cowboys have wanted. The draft has, and I say that knowing Ginty was never going to be on the board. Obviously went to Las Vegas. I say that knowing McMillan was never going to make it to 12 for the Cowboys. He went number 8 to Carolina. So things have gone the way that the Cowboys wanted. My prediction is they're going to trade back. I'd be surprised if they made a pick right here. I would be very surprised if the Dallas Cowboys made a pick right here and secured 12 right now. They have the ability here to trade back and gain a day 2 pick, which this team desperately needs to build through the draft this year if they want to be somewhat competitive. I would tell you, do not pick right here at 12. You can go back to 14. Do not pick here if the Cowboys want to continue to build through the draft, because the Dolphins are not going to take a wide receiver, and they're at 13th. The Colts, they're either going to take Jalen Walker or they're going to take a wide receiver. Maybe not, because you have Downs and you have Pittman. So you could even go back to 15. The Cowboys have a luxury right here sitting at 12. They have a luxury sitting here at 12. I think they trade back here. I'm constantly refreshing. I'm hearing reports the Cowboys are putting focus on Alabama right guard Tyler Booker at number 12 overall. No, you can't. You can't go Booker. You can't go Booker. You have to get a playmaker. You have to get a playmaker. You have to get a playmaker. You went offensive line last year. You have to get a playmaker for Dak. You have to get a playmaker for these guys. You cannot go offensive line again. Again, I'm refreshing. I'm watching. I'm seeing everything because the Cowboys are officially on the clock. You cannot go offensive line here. You have to just... I'm refreshing, man. I'm refreshing as fast as I can, taking a look at everything. Again, do you go Jordan Love with a Shador pick? My heart is racing, just refreshing, because I don't know what's going to pop up each moment I look at it. You can't go offensive line here, man. You can't go offensive line here. You need to get a playmaker. You signed Dak to an extension. You need a number 2 to CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Tolbert's not going to get it done. You need to get a weapon here or trade back, because they have the luxury to either get Jalen Walker or get Matthew Golden or Igboka. You have 3 players you can choose from right now. You can trade back 2 and make that they can make that decision for you, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine if you trade back. Still seeing nothing, which is worrying me, which maybe feels like they might be indecisive right now. Indecisiveness for the Cowboys means a trade back most often than not, historically, if we look at the other drafts. Question is, who's going to trade up? Who wants to get Golden? Who thinks Jalen Walker is that guy? They might be trying to find suitors right now. That's what the Cowboys are probably trying to do. Still nothing yet. Still not seeing anything for the Cowboys. I mean, you guys seen it. These picks have gone, and it seems like the Cowboys are taking their time right now. which is fine. That's okay. Still waiting. I'm just going to go straight to Adam Schefter, see if anything is going on right there. Nope. No news on them yet. Still refreshing. We're still waiting. 12th overall pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Trade back. Gain something for day 2. Get a day 2 pick. Round 2, round 3. Get something here. Still nothing. I'm not seeing anything here. I don't know if they go Matthew Golden here, number 12. If you don't go Xavier Worthy last year when they did, I don't know if they're going to go this high for another UT wide receiver. That thought just came into my head, so I'm going to say it. Booker would be a very underwhelming choice for the Cowboys. And I get Zach left, but you have Cooper Beebe, you have Tyler Guyton, you have Tyler Smith, you have Terrence Steele. I think the pieces are there offensively to keep it going. And schedule release is going to happen May 14th. There's a little announcement for you. So we'll know who the Cowboys open the season with. I'm going to bet that it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And of course, I will be making a season prediction video like I do every year when that schedule comes out. But here we go. Still not seeing anything from the Cowboys, and we've been live this whole first round, and all these picks have been super quick, and the Cowboys kind of seem to be slow on this end here. Hearing word, Stephen Jones is taking a phone call in the Cowboys war room. That sounds like a trade. Because if you see Jerry or Brian Schottenheimer on the phone, that means they drafted someone. But if it's Stephen, that most likely means we have a trade. And it is in. The Dallas Cowboys are drafting former Alabama guard Tyler Booker with the number 12 overall pick. He could be Zach Martin. That doesn't change the fact that you don't have a running back and you don't have a wide receiver number 2 that's going to change the ability for this offense to score. Because right now, it's just Dak and it's CD. And I understand building a good offensive line is important, but this is not the move to make for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm saying that because if you put it in perspective, the Cowboys just had Tyron Smith. The Cowboys just had Zach Martin. They both retired this past offseason. We had both of them on our roster, and we didn't even make an NFC Championship game, didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. So you need to have playmakers on your team. And I am not satisfied with this pick. I am not happy with this pick. Look, Booker can be a good player. He's probably going to be a good player. He's probably going to be a solid player. But the fact of the matter is, this feels like draft need over draft picking the best player available. And this seems, you talk about hiring, promoting Brian Schottenheimer. It's a new era in Dallas. He's an offensive-minded guy. You see the coaches of these new teams that just drafted previously. Carolina, they went wide receiver. Detroit, they even went tight end. They understand that this is an offensive league, and it's about giving your quarterback weapons. And the Cowboys seem stuck in their ways drafting another offensive lineman when you had not only the ability to draft Golden, but you had the ability to trade back and maybe gain day 2 picks. And here Roger Goodell is live. And Tyler Booker. Like, I get it. I understand offensive line picks. But this is not a vote of confidence. This isn't something that this is not something Cowboys Nation's going to rally around. Underwhelming. I mean, this is cool. It looks like he's hyped, man. He's running down this hallway. He looks like he is hyped to be a Cowboy, and I love that. That's awesome. I'm happy for him. That's awesome. He's happy to be a Dallas Cowboy. Good for him. He's worked hard to be here, be drafted in the first round, 12th overall. That's great for him. But okay, turning the page. Obviously, I'd want to go offensive firepower here, but the Cowboys have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new offensive coordinator. Came from Arizona, Clayton Adams. Clayton Adams has an identity of running the ball. Braun Schottenheimer, obviously offensive coordinator, now head coach, was very adamant in his opening press conference about running the ball. This is their identity. They're making this choice that we are going to run the ball, we're going to build a strong offensive line, and move forward this way. And Get Hype says, man, I mean, I get it, but I wish that I didn't. Same here. Terrence says, not a win now pick. It's unenthusiastic because, like, we've always been here before, right? Like, we've always been here with these picks. You want to make a splash. You want to get a talent player that you can get excited about. It's not sexy, and I feel like I say this all the time. It's not sexy. It's not exciting, but you get it as a Cowboys fan. You understand. And when the Cowboys go offensive line in the draft, outside of recency bias with Tyler Guyton, who we still don't know is going to pan out, most of their offensive line picks do pay dividends. I just really feel in this situation for Dak Prescott, even though this is kind of for him. A quarterback's success comes from its offensive line. I just really wanted another receiver to go with CeeDee Lamb or a running back. But if you get a good offensive line, that really helps the running back. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. That's all I'll say about it. Yeah, Jalen Walker. You had Matthew Golden. You had Iboka. You had a lot of players right here. Okay. Well, that's it for me. We've had a fun time. I told you guys I was going to stay on here until they drafted, and they drafted Tyler Booker is your newest Dallas Cowboy. They go offensive line again in this NFL draft. Few words, underwhelming, but expected. This feels very Dallas Cowboy-esque, and this matches the identity of which Clayton Adams has been talking about with running the football. Is it something that helps Dak? Yes, but does it help him as much as getting a number 2? That's it. Anyways, appreciate you guys. I'll be around here in the off season. Be sure to like and subscribe.